Here are the two 2025 Honda Pilots. This is the Elite all-wheel drive in platinum white pearl and the Trailsport in sonic gray pearl with synthetic leather black interior. I'm going to go over the differences between the two trims, comparable rivals, some pros and cons, and the problem that I have with the Pilot. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Ride, and we're going to start off with all Pilots receive LED headlights, daytime runnings, and fog lights. Ground clearance is going to be at 7.3 inches. Ticking the box for the Trailsport, that increases 1 inch by 8.3, giving us a off-road suspension layout and a more off-roadsy appearance. So the front grille is going to be unique to the Trailsport. You get the badging with the gloss black elements, go into the headlamp assembly, whereas when you get into the Elite, it's going to have the chrome elements for the top portion, and you're going to get the gloss black elements, and they now offer a black edition, which is going to be on top of the Elite. Last year, this was the top trim. Now the black edition is going to give us the black aesthetics for the front, giving us a more sporty style. So it's ticking the box for all three profiles, and all of the Pilots are going to have the same powertrain. So it's a 3.5 liter V6 with 285 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The difference though is the MPGs. The Elite all-wheel drive is going to get 19 to the city, 25 for the highway, whereas when you go to the Trailsport, it's lifted up, different suspension. It's going to weigh a little bit more. It's going to drop to 18 to the city and 23 for the highway. The wheel configuration is going to be an 18-inch all-terrain tire with a gray alloy wheel, whereas on the Elite, you're getting a 20-inch polished wheel, and all trims will be 20-inch. But when you go into the black edition, now you're getting the gloss black wheel setup. The side profile is going to bulge out on the lower skirt for the Trailsport, where it's going to be a little bit more settle for the Elite. Both trims will have the raised roof rails, which helps for tie-down purposes, similar to Subaru. And the all-wheel drive configuration will have the IVTM4 all-wheel drive system, which is an intelligent variable traction management system, which sends torque to the wheels that's needed. Also, the all-wheel drive will increase towing to 5,000 pounds, whereas the front-wheel drive will only be 3,500 pounds. And going against rivals, towing capacity will be the same as the Subaru Ascent. However, ground clearance is going to be at 8.7 inches. So even ticking the box for the Trailsport is not going to be as much clearance as that. As for Nissan and Kia, both of which have off-road variants that tow more than both two of these trims. I wish for 25 that the Trailsport at least gained 500 pounds to 1,000 pounds more of towing, because then it would be spot on with the competition, because they have changed the chassis. All of the 3.5 liter V6 has the variable cylinder management, which will deactivate cylinders to get better MPG. So it doesn't matter which box you tick when you're going to the Pilot. The rear is going to have a different configuration as well. More luxurious and understated when you go to the Elite with the dual exhaust finishers. You're going to have the matte black and the satin aluminum. Front and rear parking sensors are going to be on both with a 360-degree reverse camera and standard LED taillights. And the Trailsport already has the tow package connected, and as for Toyota and Hyundai, you're going to have a little bit more capabilities here, especially considering the Trailsport is lifted up. So I like that you get a luxury, a dynamic look, and an off-roadsy style in the Pilot. Since both get the power lift gate, we're going to just go into the Trailsport. It gets 18.6 cubic feet of storage. It does sit up. You get a 12 volt on both trims with a storage nook and another little storage pocket here. And underneath the floor is going to get the same. It's a deep storage cubby with the dividers. The difference in this opposed to the Elite, you'll see in just a second. We're going to fold down the third row at a 60-40 split in the back that increases cargo to 48.5 cubic feet. We have a captain seat configuration, whereas on the Elite, you have a bench, but you can move that center seat, placing it inside here, and this also reverse. So that way, if you have wet objects, you can put it here and it's not going to dirty the floor. Unfortunately, for both trims, you will have to go into the back seat in order to fold down the captain seat or bench configuration to max cargo to 87 cubic feet of storage. 10-way power seat adjustment, Syntec leatherette seats, heated front seats with the Trailsport badge, orange contrast stitch throughout, memory for the driver. The Sport will start with cloth seats, power seat adjustment is standard, and heated front seats. Leather starts on the EXL trim, heated and ventilated for the Elite in the Black Edition, but you're going to get the perforated with the piping contrast stitch, memory for the driver. Headroom is going to be the same in both vehicles, and the same thing for leg room. The difference is going to be the design for the dash. We're going to get the contrast stitch in orange. You'll still get the same pocket or sleeve for the passenger with the gloss black elements for the side air vents. The center is going to be the matte black with the 9-inch infotainment screen that comes out of the dash. The difference though is we're going to receive navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio, Wi-Fi hotspot, and we'll have the same button configuration for the 360-degree reverse camera. Standard third climate control setting, wireless charging pad, the key fob are going to be the same. USB ports, 12 volt, gloss black. Driving modes, you're going to have more here. You'll have a total of 7. And you're not going to have a full digital reader, whereas when you get into the Elite, the gauge cluster can be fully reconfigured by the button here because this is a 10.2 digital reader, and you can change the whole design layout, which I'm trying to find it. Here it is, the gauge layout. So you can change that design from round to bar to round minimal and bar minimal. We also have a heads-up display, the 12 speakers through Bose sound system, leather-wrapped steering wheel, multi-function with the paddle shifts. But we're not going to be getting, you get the cross stitch in orange. It's heated. Here in the center, it's going to be the same with the depth, the pin holder, except you get the contrast stitch, no pass-through. The door is not going to get any ambient lighting. You'll get the satin aluminum, 2 tiers of storage, and the door panel will have the ambient lighting on the Elite with the satin aluminum, 1 touch up and down for all the windows. It's going to be soft where it needs to be with 2 tiers of storage. Headroom for the Trailsport and leg room. This is the captain seat configuration. You can move it up, which I wouldn't be able to fit so well. You can move it back. You can also recline these seats to make it as comfortable as you like for the long journey, and this does adjust. I like that they keep this area here because it's the same configuration as the Elite. You'll have the removable center seat, heated second row seats, same configuration here, but you're going to get another storage pocket here, and you can move these up, you can move these back. But you're noticing moving it up, you actually have a little bit more room here than you would in that variant. You can recline these, but you're not going to have the adjustment for the captain seats because of the way it is. Headroom, third climate control settings, USB ports, home plug, no heated second row seats, manual sunshades, gloss black, satin aluminum. It comes back into play for the second row in the same size storage pocket nearly as the front. And the door will have the same configuration with the manual sunshades, except you get the ambient lighting, same size storage pocket. But here we have the bench seat configuration folded up, and now I can slide over so I can fit 3 occupants without any issues for feet, butt, leg, shoulder space. Even knee space is not going to be an issue, nor is headroom. But what's nice about Honda is once you remove this seat belt, you can fold down this at the 40-20-40 split. You pull the lever down here and you can completely remove this seat, giving a captain seat configuration. But now you're thinking, well, I got to store it in my garage. No, it stores right here and you still have cargo capacity on both sides. Push this button, now we can go inside. I've reclined the seat back to the furthest position. Both get USB ports on each side with air vents, cup holders, large window, LED interior lights, headroom with the seat reclined. This does come outwards a little bit more so. And for leg space, it's actually doable for somebody at 6'3", but it's going to be a little bit tight for a center seat. However, we're going to just see how it is. This is with the seat in the center. butt, leg, and shoulder space isn't too bad. This does bulge out, but I like how they push it inwards a little bit because it kind of maximizes arm room on both sides. But without the center seat, you can stretch out. And because this is plastic, you don't have to worry about wet shoes, making feet space not an issue. But shoulder space, it's going to be a little bit more tight, but it's still doable even if you sit upright. Whereas on the Trailsport, the headroom is going to be the same. Leg room can be altered a little bit more so, but it actually opens up because captain seat configuration. Butt and shoulder space is going to be a little bit tight. You still get the USB air vents, cup holders, and the large window sliding into the center, and this is where it opens up for you so you can just relax. 285 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. Clearance is going to be less in the Elite. Same thing with the Black Edition. But it's going to be derived more for that sporty feel, and that's what you're getting with the way it sets. Let's see the performance. It gets up to speed fine. Visibility is good. It does feel long, it does feel wide, but I have enough performance underneath it. The 10-speed automatic transmission can feel like it's looking for gears here and there, which is going to take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros on the Pilot. You can configure this to be a captain seat configuration layout more or less, because you can maneuver that middle seat and you can stow it in the cargo. You can't even do that with Acura. And turn radius is going to be about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. It's sealed up, very quiet, because when you get into this tier, all the windows around me and the front windshield is going to be acoustic. I like that we have the upgraded Bose sound system, heads-up display with a 360-degree reverse camera. The cons is even if you go to the Trailsport, you're not gaining any towing capabilities. And when you're thinking about rivals like Nissan and Kia, that's not the case. You actually increase towing capability, especially when you go to all-wheel drive. I like that we have a lot more storage on all of the door pockets, even going into the third row, because when you're thinking rival perspective, it starts becoming smaller going into Toyota, Kia, and Nissan. The cons start off with you have to go up 2 different tiers in order to get the features. You can't option them on a tier base, which when I'm at a Trailsport, that is something that maybe I want that off-road look, but I want some of the features that's in the Elite or the Black Edition, and you can't a la carte it, which kind of wish that they offered that capabilities. Some cons is the cylinder management because it hurts with longevity. We're not getting the Honda Accord 12.3 infotainment screen, and when you start slowing down, you can sometimes feel some of the jerk because of the 10-speed automatic transmission. Overall, it drives very smooth, and when I'm thinking of what I'm getting as a package, this is more or less an Acura discounted with a Honda badge. As for the Trailsport, you feel like you sit up higher because the clearance is 1 inch more. The seats are not as plush as the Elite, plus we're losing quite a few amenities when we come into here. I do like that we have real captain seat configuration. Pro, you have tons of storage nooks. The con, you don't have a full pass-through. Towing and payload capabilities is going to be the same in all trims. The pro though here is when you get the Trailsport, the transmission has been reconfigured, and they did that because of the suspension layout. On the flip side to that though, feels a little bit more heavy, but we'll see here in a second when we check the turn radius and do a little bit more performance. Sound deadening, it's not going to be as quiet as the Elite, but that's also to be expected because we have all-terrain tires, plus we're sitting up higher with clearance. Braking on the vehicle, both trims are not going to feel heavy there. Turn radius at more or less a stop point, it's going to be a little bit more here. Let's rock and roll. It feels a little bit more heavy here in sport mode than it does on the Elite trim. And a lot of that is derived because of the suspension layout and we're sitting higher. But when I go into the Trail Sport, I kind of want it to still feel comfortable in the seats, which I like the Elite better because it's a little bit more cozy for the long drive. As for comparable rivals, unfortunately, you're not getting anything other than an increase. We do get a skid plate, but we're not going to get a rock crawl mode, and we don't even get a B-lock wheel feature. So when you're thinking off-roadsy, we get the appearance to it. You're going to feel some of the ruggedness in the drive. You're going to hear some of it, but it's not going to have all full capabilities. So would you rather have the styling of that off-roadsy look, or the luxury drive that's still able to conquer more or less what you can do in the Trail Sport? But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Ocean Honda for giving us these two 2025 Honda Pilots, the Trail Sport versus the Elite, for our car review comparison.